useless. My hands grip the air, claw through it, searching for anything solid. Cold blows past me like tornado winds. I heard the third before I feel it. The wind is gone, and the pain is everywhere. Pain is everything. Make it stop. Not high enough, I whisper to myself. The pain. When will the pain end? When? The blackness swallowed up the agony, and I was weak with gratitude that the memory had come to this most final of conclusions. The blackness took all, and I was free. I took a breath to steady myself, as was this body habit, my body. But then the color rushed black, the memory reared up and engulfed me again. No, 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 I panicked, fearing the cold and the pain of the very fear itself. But this was not the same memory. This was a memory within a memory, a final memory, like the last gasp of air, yet somehow even stronger than the first. The blackness took all but this face. The face was as alien to me as the faceless serpentine tentacle of my last host body would be to this new body. I'd see this kind of face in the images I had been given to prepare for this world. It was hard to tell them apart, to see the teeny variation in color and shape that were the only markers of the individual. possible? Or was she still here? This was me now. Mine. I rebuked her, the power and authority that belonged to me, alone, flowing through the world. Everything is mine. So, why am I talking back to her? I wondered as the voices interrupt my thoughts. The voices were soft and close, and though I was only now aware of them, apparently in the middle of murmured conversation. I'm afraid it's too much for her, one said. The voice was soft but deep, male. Too much for anyone. Such violence. The tone spoke of revolution. She screamed only once, said a higher, gritty female voice, pointing this out with an hint of glee, as if she were winning an argument. I know, the man admitted. She is very strong. Others have had more trauma with much less calls. I'm sure she will be fine, just as I told you. Maybe you missed your calling. There was edge to the man's voice, sarcasm. My memory named it. Perhaps you weren't meant to be a healer like me. The woman made a sound of amusement, louder. I thought that we seekers prefer a different sort of diagnosis. My body knew this word, this title, seeker. It sent a shudder of fear down my spine, a leftover reaction. Of course, I had no reason to fear seekers. I sometimes wonder if the affection of humanity touches those in your profession. The man mused, his voice still sour with annoyance. Violence is part of your life choice. Thus, enough of your body's native temperament, Lagan, to give you enjoyment of the aurora. I was surprised at this accusation. This discussion was almost like an argument, something my host was familiar with but that I never experienced. The woman was defensive. We do not choose violence. We face it when we must, and it's a good thing stories spun themselves quickly around a thrilling new subject. The wars of kind having to fight, were first reported accurately and then embellished and fictionalized. The wars of kind having to fight were first reported accurately and then embellished and fictionalized. When the story is conflicted with the official information I, I saw out, I naturally believed the first reports, but there were whispers of this, of human host so strong that the souls were forced to abandon them. Host whose minds could not be completely suppressed. Souls who took host whose minds could not be completely suppressed. Souls who took on the personality of the body rather than the other way around. Stories, wild rumors, madness. But this seemed almost to be the healer accusation. I did miss the thought. The more likely meaning of this censure was the distaste most of us felt for the Seeker's calling, who would choose a life of conflict and pursuit, who would be attracted to the core of tracking down unwilling hosts and captured them, who would have the stomach to face the violence of this particular species, the hostile humans who killed so easily, so thoroughly. Here on this planet, the Seekers have become practically a militia. My new brain supplied the term for the unfamiliar concept. Most believed that only the least civilized soul, the least evolved, the least among us, will be drawn to the path of Seeker. Still, on Earth the Seekers had gained new status, new before had an occupation gone Also, she